Manufacturers are West Virginia's investors, innovators, and job creators. With nearly 48,000 direct employees impacting the careers of 250,000 West Virginians, making the products you use every day, from automotive and wood manufacturing to chemical components and medicine. I'm Rebecca McPhail, and this is Made with West Virginia Pride. Stockmeier Urethanes in Clarksburg, West Virginia is part of the Stockmeier Group, a nearly century-old family-owned and operated polyurethane manufacturer with operations in Germany, France, the UK, and right here in the mountains of West Virginia. From athletic tracks to specialty foams and gels, the products made at the Clarksburg facility since 1991 are used throughout the Americas. Let's meet President and CEO Chris Martincap for a closer look at what's made with West Virginia pride at Stockmeier Urethanes. So Chris, tell me about what we see on the wall here. What does Stockmeier contribute to these stadiums?
So some of the key products that we're making here at Stockmeier Group, both here in this plant in West Virginia as well as in our sister plants over in Europe, are materials for athletic running tracks all over the world. Here in this office we obviously only have tracks that won awards in the past from customers of ours that were built here in the United States and in Canada, but we're building tracks of the same kind all over the world, in Europe, in Asia and Africa, all the way down to Australia. So obviously, like I said earlier, this is just one part of what we do. Polyurethane of the kind that we make goes into many, many other products, and we're going to take a look at that in the case around the corner. So here again you see some examples of finished product applications that customers of ours are actually doing with the materials that we're making. This is always an important thing to point out. We're not making finished products, we're making liquid materials that go into a garden variety of finished products, and this is just a brief example. So polyurethane as a material in and by itself is a very versatile product, can go into almost limitless applications and enjoys great growth because everybody these days wants lighter cars, lighter planes, better insulated houses, all these kind of things, and polyurethane is the material that makes that happen.
There's some West Virginia pride in the case too, guys.
Yeah, that was actually, our lab was very proud of that one.
So Chris, it seems like health and wellness of your employees is really a priority at Stockmeier. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you've done here at the office to promote that?
Absolutely. I mean, our staff is pretty much our most important resource above and beyond everything, and for that matter we've tried to at least design our offices here in such a way that, yeah, you come here for work, but you can also take 5 and take a moment of rest, sit with coworkers outside on the patio with a coffee, probably take a nap, do a little workout, play some foosball, all these kind of things that a lot of people say are expected these days. We're doing them here, and I think we're doing them for one reason and one reason only. We want to make sure that folks that come here just don't come here because they have to be here. We want them to be here because they want to be here, and that I think makes all the difference with respect to motivation and mental health. This is also at the same time a little bit of a demonstration area here. We installed an indoor athletic flooring system in this room here, which is our workout room. Folks can do some exercising in here, either do a video or do some rowing, get on the machine. Some folks do yoga in here. We've got Tai Chi. There's all kinds of different things. So this is kind of like a area with several different purposes here. It's not only a demo object, actually real stuff happens in here where people try to relax themselves and have a good time. There you go.
Use that one.
We were actually not joking when we said earlier that naps could be a part of your work routine here. We do have that. Actually here at Stockmeier we have a nap pod. We've had it since the initiation of this office here when we bought this building. The reason behind that is plain and simple. We want to make sure folks are rested when they're at work, and when they don't feel like it, they'd rather take 20 minutes off and get there and then come back, as opposed to just hang at their workplace all day overnighted. Check it out, and you close the hatch, And the button is on the inside of your, to start the program is on the inside of that armrest. There we go.
Wow.
All we have to do now is wait for 20 minutes and then we'll come back. I was going to say, let's go back to the football table. How about that? Yeah, so over here, you've got the painting of one of the two co-founders of our company. We always like to point out that, you know, Stockmeier Urethanes, since the inception, has been always a family-owned and operated enterprise to this day. Jürgen Stockmeier was the second generation owner that started actually the urethane business in 1991 together with my father, Edmund Martincat. Companies like ourselves, I believe these days, are becoming increasingly rare. Many family companies are being sold out, taken over, whether it's by private equity or corporate outfits. And we've been standing on our own tall for a long time, and I think that makes us a quite different enterprise.
Why did you choose West Virginia?
I think the key has always been for us that we felt when we came here the first time around, they've done a really, really good job, you know, for smaller companies that don't have a big in-house legal department, environmental department to go through all the regulations, find a spot where you can settle, help you and walk you through the permitting process, particularly when you're making chemical products. It's kind of an important thing. We're not making gummy bears in here. So that really is what made it for us. It wasn't so much financial incentives or other things. It was the fact that it's a smaller state. You get to know all the people you deal with in a very fast period of time, and you become a part of a community much easier. And those were important factors for us to come here as opposed to anywhere else around us. We talked earlier about one of our co-founders. This is the other one, Edmund Martincat. Started the business in 1991 over in Europe together with Jürgen Stockmeier. Basically from nothing. It was literally a shot in the dark. They thought they had a good idea, they invested money and started working at it. It was kind of a we build it and they will come moment, and it's kind of what we did here in the US years later, getting started here again 15 years into the inception of the original company. We've always been growing mostly organically in everything we do.
All right, Chris, so we're in the factory and you're going to walk us through the process. I think what we're looking at here is some of the raw material, and behind us some of the finished goods. So can you maybe show us how that process happens?
Absolutely, and there's obviously a lot in between until you get from this to that over there. Most of our raw materials here come in bulk. We've got a large tanker station on the other side of that back wall here, where most of our polyols and isocyanates are coming in tanker trucks. And then usually the process incurs any of those reactors that you see behind you and in the next room over that we'll walk into, where all our finished products are being made in those tanks, and then they're being at the end filled into any kind of packaging, starting really with small 5-gallon pails over into steel drums or IBCs, or on the very top end full-size tanker loads. And here's kind of where the heart of the operation really is. We've got several different reactors and also blenders for polyol blends where we make our products. Different probably between most of the things that we do make in here. We have single component prepolymers, which are largely not filled. They're clear, transparent binders and adhesives. And then we have two component systems where the polyol component oftentimes is heavily filled with all kinds of fillers, colorants and other things depending on what it is, and all of that happens in here. So
what kind of volume are you producing each year?
All things considered, right now status quo here in this site, we're moving about close to 17,000 metric tons of product a year at this very moment.
So Chris, in the manufacturing environment, we're learning that it isn't just the folks on the floor, the direct frontline manufacturers, that it's a bigger operation and a lot of things happen. Tell us about that at Stockmeier, what happens in the day-to-day and what your employee composition looks like.
It's much of the same thing here to the extent that almost every manufacturer that is successful in their marketplace today employs lean manufacturing techniques and has a lot of automation going on. Out of roughly 60-some people that work here in total, majority of people is either working in the lab, in the R&D or quality control, or in the administration and sales staff. So even though we are a true manufacturer here, the majority of folks that work for us actually don't work on the floor at all. They work in professions off the floor, in the lab, in the offices. And we've got anything from, factory workers to janitors to chemists and even a couple of pilots. So there's a lot of different jobs here that emerge from all of the things we're doing every day.
So tell us what's happening behind us.
Well, regular day-to-day work here. Obviously, raw materials coming, they need to be checked for their quality and compliance. Same thing for finished products going out. Through that windows, all the sample is coming into this room here, and then everything is tested for its compliance with the spec, whether it's coming in or going out. Also, of course, a lot of regular R&D work is done here. This lab is stacked with all the different apparatus that we need to do our R&D work and our testing for that purpose, and that all happens here simultaneously at the same time.
Chris, thank you so much for taking us through the factory today, your cool office. It's really great to see what you're making here in Clarksburg with West Virginia Pride.
Absolutely. We're excited to be here. It's been a great day to have you. Fantastic to have you here, so thank you very much for the visit.
From the highways and the back roads, over the mountains and in the valleys, there is something made with West Virginia Pride around every corner. Things you use at home and at work every single day. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you'll get to know your local manufacturers. For more information, please visit www.wvma.com. We'll see you next time.